Good morning, you guys. When Bob's.
Hey everyone, it's Sandy Beach at the beach. I hope you're having.
Where is our founder, Richard Hart?
What the hex?
What the heck am I doing in this position? Thank you.
Yes, let's move you to this position.
Thank you.
Wow. You're lucky number 39. Welcome, everybody. What the hex, episode 39. And we have our friend from the Orange Grove, Tang Gang representing Bullish is with us. Bullish.
What's up, gentlemen? What's up, gentlemen? DJ Cryptomatic, Papa Boner. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. This has been a long time in the making. Like, I've contacted you months ago and you were like, oh, no, I don't really do interviews like that. And
he's a busy man. He's busy.
I got to pick up my wife on Thursdays and I got to do this and that. It was like a little bit diva-like, you know?
Well, I tried to pick my wife up on Thursdays, but she's just a little too zoftig to do it. I break my back. She's heavy. She's a heavy woman. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I usually spend my time behind the scenes. So I'm really not like a front-facing person, as you guys know, and we'll get into it. I'm usually always behind the scenes, and many people try to get me on the show, and I was like, no, wait, I'm not ready yet. Wanted to wait for things to settle, get to know more trust in the community, and then I was all right. It's time now to go out there. So I think this is my second interview. The first one I gave to Corey Costa. Because he was the first one to ask me like a year ago, and I was like, not yet, I promise you, whenever I do, you'll be the first. So
you'll be the first. Okay, so he was even more nagging than I was.
Oh yeah, you know him; he'll follow up every month.
All right, before we go into anything bullish, because I really want this to be all about you today. Let me just say hi to the chat real quick. We got our friend of the show, DJ Dougie, first today. Wow, when Bob's exactly. And a Bullish-0x checking his own chat in second. And DJ Nom Nom checking in from work. Salute to the third position. We got Briz, of course, in the house. Jesus Escobar. Let's Grove. Oh, man, that's the Tang Gang stepping in. Get Jay Pond. Got a Wookie. Where's my Wookie?
I don't think you pronounce Jesus. I think it's Jesus, isn't it?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh, that Bullish can help us with the Spanish here. This is
that's definitely not Spanish.
No, this one here. This Jesus Escobar.
Jesus Escobar.
Yeah. Oh man, you got the vamos
flavor.
You can say Escobar or Escobar.
Escobar. Wow. I love that. Yes. We got Drix checking in. Hexicans in the house. Yes, there's your Bobs, DJ and Dougie. And we got Metallic Elmo, Hexwood. Man, that's a live crowd. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. So Bullish, man. You've been, as you said, you're like how I know you first. I think we came into contact on the Jim Rat Crypto Show, where you were sort of, I think.
Remember? Wait, hold on. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
GRC.
A long time.
GRC. Is it now Jim Wrecked Crypto, or did he make his fortune.
Well,
and he
I'm sure he
rode
still
off
holds
into
his
it.
hex bags, but yeah, he just went back to business. You know, like the community basically was like, get out of here. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna go on my way. You know, he just went back to what he was doing before. But
Wow.
Is
but
that
we
what
still
it is?
communicate. Yeah, we still communicate. Yeah, he left basically because of, you know, he was just getting attacked left and right, threats, all kinds of stuff. So, you know,
Attacked.
he
Why?
basically was like, the
Why
hell with this,
attacking?
and went back
Yeah.
to the business he was running. And I think it's working out for him. Last time I spoke to him was a few weeks ago, and he said he's doing really good.
Okay.
Well,
That's
give him
great
my
to hear.
best.
Yeah,
I
'cause-
just, yeah.
No, I
That's
messaged him
terrible.
when he stopped streaming. I was like, bro, what are we doing? Why are you stopping? I mean, I know it was controversial and he probably overdid it a bit with the Xen stuff, but still, it was another
That was
voice of
long.
the community. And
Wait, that was long before he left, though. That was long before. There was a whole wave. He
Yeah.
recanted
Before he quit, yeah, he was taking up a lot of heat and also giving back heat. So, you know, the energy you put out, you also
yeah,
receive. So
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's not a fair. But look, anyone can be manipulated by a founder that he thinks is, you know, very charismatic and really dedicated to winning you over directly. It's a humbling thing when like, let's say Richard Hart rolls up on you and says, you're special. I like you a lot. I want you to be my like right hand guy, and I need you to do streaming. It's really good. Well, Richard doesn't do that because he doesn't send out warm fuzzies to anybody and everybody at the same time equally. So unless it's Matty Allen when he says, "Look, stop picking on Matty Allen. He does really good work," then that's different. But to the best of my knowledge, the blame does not belong on Jim Rat, and if that's any reason that he left, still that's stupid. So
yeah, and I'm sure he was going through his own personal stuff too, because it was like a whole new journey for him. And you know, things go 180, and you got to start, you know, reevaluating things, and you know, take the path that is meant for you. So but yeah, but he's doing good overall. That whole experience was great for me because I got to meet a lot of people behind the scenes, sitting in the green room, and that's how I, you know, built some of the relationships I have now. So I don't take that experience, you know, for granted. I don't feel it was wasted time or energy. I gained a lot from, you know, just sitting there and listening and clicking buttons.
Yeah. No, you were like, that's how I got to know you. You were running that show on the back end, and I guess organizing some of his interviews, and then really running the StreamYard, managing the chat. And I know we also never like agreed on everything, but still there's no point in, you know, it's like, keep the beef on vinyl. You don't have to take it to the street.
Let's keep it on wax. Let's keep it on wax.
Keep it on wax, exactly, as we say in the hip hop world. So we can still be friends and not having to agree necessarily 100% on everything that is going on. But tell us about that. So you were yes, basically for an introduction, because as I told you before, I wanted today to get into this, maybe this debate, because to me you represent the like this generational debate that we have in the Hex community, because to me you represent the youngins, the young Hexicans, you know, the generation, I don't know, 2 and 3, because we're already running up to 4 years now with this Hex thing. And us here on this show, we are like the old fogies who have been around from day one. And this is always, crypto is a young people's game. So maybe we can touch on what you see differently from what's going on with Hex than how we see it or what we know. But for context's sake, it would be great if you could give a little bit of a like, not a resume, but a little bit of a rundown, like how you got into the community and how you got to know Richard Hart, what you think about Richard, how'd you got into this thing?
So I invested in crypto probably like around 2017. It's a little gray for me at this point, when, like, you know, Doge and all that stuff was like pumping, and you had, you know, a bunch of YouTube videos. I just had my first child, and I wanted to, like, you know, just make some investments, put some money aside. So I was like, all right, let me, you know, put some money into crypto. And basically forgot about it. Then Elon's on, you know, SNL talking about, you know, Dogecoin to the moon. I was like, oh wait, I remember buying this. Let me go check. And I was like, oh, I've been paying attention to the wrong thing this whole time, because I literally just like bought it and forgot it.
Right.
So then I was like, all right, let me start paying attention again. Started, you know, doing what, you know, typical, you know, no coiners or, you know, new people into the ecosystem do. which is, you know, just do research, Google, YouTube, you know, Twitter, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I found who was it that I found first? Crypto Profeta, who's also a Hexican. I found one of his videos and he mentioned Hex. So I was all right, let me look into this Hex thing. And then I saw one of Richard Hart's videos and I go on Google, I do research. It's just scam here, scam there, scam there. And I'm like, I'm watching his videos. I'm like, this guy doesn't come off as a scammer. And I say that because I'm born and raised in New York. You know, I have a little bit of street smarts. Like I can pretty much sense a scammer, like, you know, like a mile away. So it's just
a
like
hustler.
Yeah, like he never came off to me as disingenuous. And I was like, all right, you know, let me look into this more. Got onto Twitter. Hex Orca, who's now known as Orange Gooey, was running this marathon space. And I was like, oh, this community is dope. And I started leaning in. And, you know, that's eventually how I found, you know, Jim Rat Crypto and started helping him out. I noticed he was one of the new streamers. So he was like, okay, one of the new guys, just like me. Noticed he was having, you know, some trouble trying to navigate like the streaming world. And I was like, hey, buddy, I got some free time. Like I can help you out. And you know, and that was pretty much it. And that was my introduction into the Hex community. It was like about 20 cents when I came in.
Oh, okay. So it was already past big payday.
It was already past the pump and all that stuff. Yeah, it was already on the downtrend.
Yeah. Oh, on the way down already. Oh, yeah. Okay. So
my sweet summer child, you don't know a winter. Yes.
Sorry, remember when we were rich?
Yeah, exactly.
For that 2 months.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but you've also been active on Discourse Syndicate behind the scenes, right? You've been running stuff for the Captain RG3 and for Famous on Wednesdays.
Yep. So right before the launch of Pulse Chain Tour, I was helping out a lot behind the scenes, just with production work and RG3 and helping them out with their shows and, you know, just basic maintenance stuff, nothing too involved like I was with like Jim Rat Crypto with the, you know, other than the exception when we were live. But yeah, for a couple of months I was behind the scenes, just trying to improve some of the production quality and helping Captain out as he was like making this transition from like, you know, being semi-retired to like full-time retired and like focusing on crypto full-time. So yeah, helped RG3, helped out Kinetics, Famous, a couple of the shows. Yeah, helped out a lot with that as well.
Don't forget Bullish, DJ Cryptomatic. I gotta shout out to Bullish right here and right now.
Yeah.
Without him, we at B9.xyz could never have gotten off the ground perfect. You know, it's executed so perfectly on our Telegram stuff. We were just 3 guys or 4 guys at that point, bumbling around, not knowing how to make sure our B9. Thank you. B9.xyz actually had a, you know, individual, unique chat groups that were all arranged perfectly and weeded out from bots. And Bullish just stepped in and said, "Let me tell you what to do."
Yeah.
And he spent hours and hours and hours and hours educating us and getting it rolling. And thanks to you, Bullish, it's really a useful resource now for people to chat on and share information. We thank you very much for doing that.
Appreciate it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to serve my community, as I tell people in Twitter Spaces.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what gets overlooked. So we wanted to give you your flowers for that. I mean, then there is of course this controversial topic of, do we really need to shill the next meme coin and all of that stuff? Like, how do you, like, obviously with the Tang Gang, I mean, the memes are hilarious. You see on Twitter, the meme game is very strong there, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, this is your chart. I think it's the one meme coin that hasn't really pumped yet.
What are you talking about? That's a huge bull flag.
Yeah, hit log. You forgot to hit log.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hit log. He never hits log.
When you see log, what you'll see is we're probably one of the few meme coins that hasn't dumped.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, that doesn't really make it.
I read bull flag, yeah.
And all that goes to Hexicans. Majority of HOA holders are like hardcore Hexicans who already believe in diamond handing. So like, shout out to all the Hexicans we got in the Tang Gang.
But why though? That's maybe that's the thing really, because you know, when you watching Richard, like I'm watching Richard since 2017, and I don't know, is it brainwashed? I don't know. I just like to agree with many of the things that he's saying. And I mean, it just goes what's happening on Pulse Chain right now, and with the PDI and the FBI and all this stuff that has pumped crazy but has also gone down crazy. Like, why do you think it's important to highlight these coins or even talk about these coins?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's important to highlight it, more that it's important to support anyone who wants to build and bring new eyeballs to the Pulse Chain. So that's the perspective I look at it. It's not I don't look at it from the perspective of telling people like what to buy, or I'm not like doing price calls or TA and stuff like that.
Sure.
But if I see that there's people who genuinely like want to build and want to build community, then I can get behind that. So so it's not necessarily about, you know, a specific DApp or a specific coin. Is like, do you bring value to the community? Are you like a genuinely good person? You know, do some of the things behind the scenes check out? Then I can get behind it.
Yeah. But even if it gets people wrecked, I mean, that is then the consequence, right? Where it gets
even that, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna say like, well, let me just say, you know, as candid as I can, like, at the end of the day, the responsibility of clicking the button is on you. Your risk profile, you need to figure out what that is. Like, if you're just buying stuff based on like what people are tweeting, then you're doing it wrong. Like, and you know, like, you're just doing it wrong. And if that case, just stick to Richard Hart's message. Like, literally stick to his message, and you will not get wrecked. You know, like, if you just play by some of the things that he lives by, about basically getting in, building your position, holding on, eat the dips, you know, ride through the dips, and like, you know, you'll make it to the other side. But for the people who are impatient, they're, you know, they're sitting there and they're just looking for something to like click the button on. So, you know, insert any, you know, influencer, they're just going to go chase it regardless because this person said it and they think that person is smarter.
But isn't the point of HEX the delayed gratification? And it seems to me, like, I get the impression that people are currently after instant gratification, like they want to make some money and some sick gains right now. Don't you think that is it that a shift in culture that we're witnessing in the community, or is that a outcome of this very long and drawn out harsh bear market?
I think it was
people are not patient anymore.
I think it was always there. I think people are just more vocal about it. Like, you know, like, the truth of the matter is like, you know, there's a gap right now as far as like, you know, a certain voice who was always active, like, you know, leading the herd, like, is like, you know, the sheepdog is not here right now, you know? So like, so now since the sheepdog is not around, you know, some of the sheep are willing to like get away from the circle. And it's like, let me go, you know, see what's on, you know, at the other end of the field. And just probably, you know, just a little bit more confident on just like, you know what? Like, I don't care at this point. I'm just gonna, you know, tweet out the stuff that I'm buying and the stuff I'm into. Where before people were a lot more hesitant of mentioning anything other than HEX or RH products.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 150, 160 projects right now on Pulse Chain.
Yeah,
we haven't even discovered them all yet.
Yeah. I think the last graph I saw was like 180 plus.
Shit, what?
Yeah, you know how they make the images with all the projects that are launching. Yeah, the last one I saw, I think it was this morning, was like 182 or something. They just keep on adding and adding and adding and adding.
Which one is it? And is B9 on there? Because I've been campaigning saying you missed one. B9 could be on there.
I know the Power City one released one, and then the other one that got released, I'm trying to remember who it was. Can't remember off the top of my head, but there's two floating around. One that was produced by Power City, and the other one was like a community member. But the one I saw this morning was a community member, and it was like, like 182 plus.
Oh yeah, the one that with all like the patchwork that's all all
there we go.
That we're on there, but the Power City one, if you can get in their ear and say, hey, you know, I've been working on this one with these guys and it's not on there. What the fuck? Because I pinged Jesse and I'm like, yo, man, come on. We don't want to gatekeep within the most gatekeeped community in the world, right?
That's the point. But I feel we also, as streamers, we have a responsibility. I mean, if I look at the top 50 here on the deck screener, and Teddy Bear, like, that was super shield heavy on Twitter in the last 2 weeks. I mean, this is then the chart. Yeah. If we, another one is a Troper. it's a similar chart. They all had a crazy run and crashed down again. And the other one is even crazier. Was this FBI thing, or was
Yeah,
it
FBI is another one. What's
CIA?
it called? Formal buyer investigators.
Like,
Shit.
like that's the chart, right?
Correct.
So I feel vindicated in not chilling these things, and again that, like, that sort of the preachings of Richard, if you will, are correct and not chasing after these gains. Because what happens probably around this time, you get wind of it, and then
Right.
you FOMO in, and it runs up for another day or two, and then brutally crashes down again. I remember it was this other thing, Tony, I think it's called. That was, when all
Oh yeah, I
this
remember
these
that one.
farms and all of that was chilled. Like you looked stupid if you weren't taking part in
Wow.
Tony and farming on that website. And like,
I remember
really
that.
people created FOMO on the Twitter, and look, this is the chart. So again, a crazy run up. And I respect the pump. That's a certain skill to really get people behind it, get volume behind it, and run it up. But it's like, it's not what I'm about,
Right,
So
right.
not at all. So that's why I'm always sitting like a little bit off the fence. And also what I'm hearing in many live streams at the moment is this notion with Richard,
And
that
Atropa.
no, with Richard Hart, yeah, that as well, and that the P-Dye peg and all
Yeah.
of this stuff. No, I meant to say that many people are saying right now, yeah, it's okay that Richard Hart is not live streaming at the moment. It's perfectly fine because the community was supposed to take on the baton and take it to the next level and all of that stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. Like, my streams are not pumping the price. Not at all. And otherwise we wouldn't been trending down like this for the last 12 months. This is the Hex chart. It's been the lowest volume it's ever been here. You see this on Ethereum. There are certain days where there's not even a volume bar. So Richard is pumping the price. Richard streaming, just Richard being, and not saying pumping the price, Richard being out there, being visual, being vocal.
Right.
It's important. It's super important. My streams are then adding to the excitement that Richard is creating. The Discourse Syndicate streams are adding to that. It's not that they can replace Richard streaming totally. That is wrong in my opinion. Like, this doesn't work. This needs Richard to stream, because that's not what people have signed up for. They mostly rallied behind Hex and Pulse Chain because of Richard and because of the stuff he was sharing, and not because of some people in the community. Yes, we need to improve. We need to take it to another level. We need to build up new streamers 100%. But I think it still needs Richard as a central figure. He cannot be replaced by any streamer in the community. What do you think about that?
I think that's valid. He's essentially the influencer of the Hex community. Like, he's at the top of the totem pole.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, like with his and it's understandable why he's not around.
Yeah,
Completely understandable.
I get that with the lawyers and the SEC, of course. If they tell
completely
him not to
understandable why
stream.
he's not around. I think from the aspect of, I look at it from like two different buckets. There's the Hex bucket, and then there's the Pulse Chain bucket, right? When it comes to the Hex bucket, it's like, yeah, you're gonna preach what Richard Hart, has preached for years, and you're gonna follow that path, right? And then there's the Pulse Chain bucket, where there's people who don't really care about Hex and care about Pulse Chain. So it's like, what do you tell the Pulse Chain people who are into Pulse Chain but don't care about Hex? And that's why I try to keep like neutral ground, where it's like, I try to work with both communities. And evidence, I work with both communities. I work with the Hex community, I work with multiple projects and people in the Pulse Chain community, because without leadership, and I don't mean that leadership in the sense of like having expectations from Richard, but he was the leader. So without a figurehead to really keep everyone on the same march and the same mission, people are just going to stray off. People are just going to stray off, and you'll start hearing conversations like, or comments like, yeah, we don't need Richard. Like, the community's doing what they got to do. that they're bringing eyeballs, they're bringing volume, transactions, etc. But I'm also on the cautious side, where it's like you got to be careful what you're shilling and what you're bringing people into, because you might end up getting on the ender side of the chart and just be buying red candles versus the one buying green candles,
holding the bags.
Yeah, holding the bag. And then and the truth of the matter is we have people in our community. Hexicans are some of the smartest people in our community.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like crypto. Like, you think some of these guys are not like master traders? Like, Richard Hart might not trade, but like Richard Hart to me is a master trader. If Richard Hart wanted to trade, he can go in and crush it.
I mean,
And
his
there's
early Telegram rooms, the Strape and Strawberry Strape or whatever, before there was like these other the Hex Telegram channels, he had trading like the chat rooms on Telegram where he was posting charts and TA and debating with other traders in those rooms. It was crazy. So yeah, it was about Bitcoin trading in them, but only Bitcoin, nothing else.
Right. So you'll hear comments like that, and again, I'm neutral. Like, I do believe we do need some of these dApps and some of these other coins to attract attention. I'm a little biased as far as the Tang Gang. We took like a little different approach. It's primarily Hexicans and Pulsicans. And we started attracting people from Chia, XRP, Cardano, Bitcoin bros, ETH bros. They're all in there. They're all hanging out, and they're all leaning into Pulse Chain and starting to see some of the benefits of like interacting on Pulse Chain and wanting to build on Pulse Chain. And the captain is doing some stuff behind the scenes with like some major like global brands to like try to who already have collections on like ETH and Matic and stuff like that to bring them over. And like every community member is essentially working with outside people to try to get their projects over. And it's like, hey, we notice you have this big community, but like ETH sucks. Like, how about you just launch it here? We'll give you some support.
I have a question. I have a question. The whole plan was that it was going to be light touch, kind of a soft sell to these other communities to say, hey, you only have to change your RPC settings. You only have to change 20 minutes. You could just change the code and you would have your duplicates alive, and your community would instantly have their duplicates, and they could play with it, and they could learn that this has value, and then they could start playing on Pulse Chain today. Why did that affect? Why did they not swarm over? Why does it require Captain to be doing things behind the scenes with big communities and NFT type of communities? Why is it so hard?
I think the hardest thing about like the just switching RPCs and having your copies there is the delay. So given the delay, it just created more time and a more harsher atmosphere to the point where like the ETH bros just didn't care. So all they did was switch their RPCs and dump their bags.
Well, they did.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. And I think it was like too much time was allowed between like, hey, biggest airdrop to when it actually launched.
It's just 2 years. Come on, man.
No, like for us it's fine, but for like people who all they care about is like degenning and trading all day and stuff like that.
Yep.
It just gave them more time to like create reasons in their head to like call it a rug or a scam or whatever.
Okay, so again, the second argument was maybe they would just dump, but just for that one moment they would say, "Holy shit, gas was like very cheap," and then that was easy to dump, and that was cheap to dump, and maybe this really is going to stick around for a while.
And I think that's the sentiment now. And I think that's where we're starting to see that the sentiment now is like, okay, this is definitely not a rug. There's a live and active community. By the way, shout out to the Orange Grove on Spatial Metaverse. This is being streamed in the metaverse right now. Shout out to Tangent, who's giving the assist on that. So like, nice. Yeah, like we're just going into different communities, different blockchains, and just trying to bring attention to Pulse Chain via the Tang Gang, memes and stuff like that. So and I think
your Telegram channel is one of the most active that I'm following. Like there's always crazy amounts of messages and posts. So it's definitely an alive crowd. But that is then something I can get behind in. Like there's a purpose. It's to showcase the Pulse Chain ecosystem via the funny Tang Gang memes to other communities. With that explainer to it, I can get behind that. Like PP Coin with Hexi Barster, I think he tried to follow like a similar approach, but Tang Gang seems to be more effective for now. Maybe they have another comeback or something, but I think that is a good way to raise awareness to the
Yeah,
to the
and
space
if I can add some clarity to that, like
without rug pulling people. Yeah, please.
right, like to add clarity to that, like Tangang is not a coin. Tangang is literally like a community of
Yeah.
like, you know, all these multi-chain individuals who like are now like on this mission of like promoting post-chain artists, creators, developers, and you know, and then there's coins associated with the Tangang. They kind of like birthed out of there, but you know, the Tangang itself is not an actual coin. So and you know, and if you ever, you spend time in the Tangang, we tell people like just because someone's launching or coming in here shilling something and saying, hey, I'm part of the Tangang, doesn't mean you ape in. Like if you don't see the tickers in the Telegram description, we're not endorsing it, like as far as like the greater community. And the mission is just to really pretty much get like eyeballs onto the chain and let people know like, hey, we're not just a bunch of, and I don't mean this as any shade, toxic hex maxis. We got some cool people here. We got some artists. We got musicians. You know, we got people who, you know, are Giga Chads and are into tokenomics and game theory. Like, come hang out with us, and you'll see that like not everything is what the image has been portrayed to be. That it's just a bunch of RH hex toxic folks on Pulse Chain.
Yeah, this toxic maxi, like how often I've been called that on social media, and I don't think I'm toxic, bro. I really
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so
I
either.
really don't. Like I'm like, you know, I followed the rules that Richard, and it's also not deriding what I'm also accused. Like it's not like Richard has, you know, when he came into like I came in 2017 and I was writing like many Hexicans have this ICO phase with the promise coins, and none of them said you're not toxic. Thank you.
Sandy Beach gives the endorsement. So
yeah, it gives the endorsements, exactly. Yeah. Where none of these, and I was so convinced about some of these ideas and projects that some of these coins had in the ICO phase in 2017, and it all turned out to be straight up, you know, just promises, empty promises that could never really follow through. And Richard was really the only one that put a change to that, and also added to that the full decentralization, that you run everything yourself. You don't rely on a third party like a centralized exchange or like a I'm forgetting the names already. What was that where you could yield and earn percentages that got rugged? Celsius, sorry. Something like that. And Richard brought this to the space, and to this day, yes, prices are down, but I'm still accumulating more hex every day simply by being staked. And this is working. It has financially changed things for me, and that buys loyalty. Like I can get totally behind that. It's not deriding, it's I'm loyal to kind of the things that he has put out, and the rules that he laid down for us on how to be on Twitter is like, if you shill other coins on your Twitter profile, on your Twitter following that you only have because of the Hex community, that is seen as a betrayal, and that is not what you should be doing, because we want to shill Hex to people and not other things. So I'm strictly following that rule that he has laid out, but that doesn't make me a toxic person. I'm just
and I think on the
playing I'm sticking the ranks and playing by the game that he has laid out, and I only have a following on social media because of the Hex community.
And I think on the other side of that, like it's fine, like to do that. Like, I even initially when I got in, like I kind of understood real quick, like this is the lay of the land. Like, don't F around, or you're gonna have a bunch of people in your timeline, like just like, hey, what are you doing? Block.
It's not even like that.
Unfollow. No, I'm not saying you're like that, but like I'll take the other side of that, and it's just like, I think that's what created the negative stigma. Like,
hold on, just a cut and pick a minute. Bob Lagai, can we bring his comment up, please? Because I am so happy that someone of my Dentacoin community finally shows their face and waves the banner of Dentacoin, the dentist's coin. Yes, exactly. Your dental records on chain. Yes, that's the future.
Exchange, which got hacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a talk. Okay, can I just it's the 35-minute mark. Can I just break in with a little story quickly? And it's along the same lines of where we're going with this conversation, and it was funny because it's also pertinent to what Bob Lagai is talking about. I had my first meetup in real life with the Hawaiian Hexican community, members that I contacted through happenstance when my wife went into a country doctor's clinic and got checked out for a little bit of a dry cough. Turns out through the discussion, he says, well, do you guys get any, you look like you're a wreck. I mean, do you get any exercise? I'm like, no, I'm in crypto. Really? What crypto community are you with? A Hex. Oh my God, I'm a Hexican. Boom. We become instant brothers. He introduces me to his Telegram chat. Now I got like 6 other friends. And then just yesterday, I said, guys, why don't we catch lunch? And in one day, we just went and we met each other yesterday. And let me explain, we are ubiquitous. Hexicans are they may be in dormancy, but we are everywhere. Every damn little crevice and crack in the United States, at very least, we exist. And just reach out to the people. It's so important to have these types of moments where you can be. Remember with the AA, we all thought that we were just alone, right? Just a couple of us getting involved in this hex thing, and then as soon as it gets revealed through like Telegram opens up, and now we know we're like 2,500 strong, and then that became 10,000, and so on and so on and so on. So we have this debate that a lot of these things, are little promises that were made during the ICO phase. Those all went away. That was like the big scam phase of the crypto movement, like 2017, 2018 through 2018. Then they started kind of going away. Remember like Denta Coin, for example, or Substratum for you, DJ Cryptomatic.
Oh yeah.
What a train wreck these things are, right? And then Richard Hart comes out and he says, you know what? It's complete. It's complete and it's all together and I'm not touching it. It's immutable, just like the code is on the chain.
No roadmap.
No roadmap, no nothing, no promises.
No
it works. Yeah, it works. And remember how long we had to wait for that? Like an extra year and a half.
Yeah.
And
two more weeks.
do you remember the wait? No, you don't. You remember the product and the fact that it works and no one can change it ever. I mean, they have to shut the internet down to change it, just like Bitcoin. So kudos to the community for doing it. And the last thing I wanted to say about this meeting was we had this moment where by the way, when you meet up with Hexicans for the first time, you meet up with these little enclaves and you didn't know were happening just under your nose. You'll sit down with these people and before you know it, you like start to have this conversation, have that first handshake saying, a big grin on your faces saying, yes, man, this is awesome that we're here. Look at your watch. 3 hours have elapsed, right? You just feel so comfortable knowing that you have so much to share and so few people and just so much hate that you've been fending off from the community the entire time. When you find like souls coming together that are in the community, that's something that no other community I think has. And in these down times, it's a critical thing to keep that idea that we have to get back on the horse and start onboarding again. Because now are the times when these people that you onboard are going to be thanking you in another 18 months, right? You don't have to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars like you did in the bull. You can just tell them, get your feet wet, get $100 in, $1,000 in, Pulse Chain. You can do that now, for God's sake. That's why it was made. The onboarding is so fucking easy now. All you have to do is remember that you have that faith, go out and say, I want more people in the community. When the bull comes, they're going to be so freaking happy. They're going to be calling you up saying, no financial advice, but the risks are so small now. I mean, $10 you can actually get in on a Pulse Chain investment for your future.
Yeah, you can get these OG bags that, people are always mad at the OGs for having these big bags. You can almost get them at these prices, right?
Yeah, I'm not even mad at them. I'm trying to accumulate as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, I tell people that don't hate the player, hate the game. Like,
that's exactly
like it's not your fault or Boner's fault that like I got in before me. Like I wasn't paying attention. I was asleep at the wheel.
That's hate the game.
Your second chance at the brass ring.
Yeah. There is this comment here by Hexwood which kind of struck me earlier. Yeah, I get that. Can't be mad at them bringing the volume to the Pulse Chain. Yes, I can get behind with that, but personally, and this is just a matter of principle and doing what's right and wrong, like I can't, like, it's not okay if people get wrecked on some of these rug pulls and scam coins. So I would rather sacrifice having no volume there than people getting wrecked. That's just me.
Yeah, like I have empathy for those people who are like constantly getting wrecked, and it's like don't learn their lesson, and it's like they just keep on getting wrecked and wrecked and wrecked and wrecked, and it's like, come on, dude, like when you're gonna learn your lesson, like stop chasing, like fast money,
Fast
like
money.
yeah, like stop chasing fast. And look, like I'm like I trade too, but my trading strategy, there's a certain risk profile. I'm not like putting mortgage money on it or none of that stuff. Like
you're
I
not
know
over
what my risk
leveraging, not
profile
doing
is.
with your whole bag.
Right, I'm still focused on accumulating my main bags, which is Hex, Pulse Chain, and the other coins I'm into. Like that focus does not change. But I might throw in $20-$50 into something if I'm in early. But if it's already out and everyone's talking about it, I'm not bothering with it. Like I'm not gonna be your exit liquidity. But if I can get in and take maybe a 2x, 3x profit, roll that back into Hex and Pulse Chain and keep a boom bag for later, like I have no problem with that. But that's why you don't see on my timeline me like constantly doing TA or shilling coins, and it's like buy this, buy that. I'm just promoting and amplifying the community, like retweets, likes, retweets, likes.
Can I interject one more little detail, because you just reminded me, Bullish. When you think all is like down in the market, this year is a great year for tax harvesting. So if you are a trader, you may consult your CPA or look at your accounting software and find that if you do HIFO, highest in, first out, cost basis calculation, then what you can do is sell and buy back instantly and make sure that you achieve a huge loss on the books instantly, and then that carries over in like kind to the next year when you are actually going to be achieving those big gains, or the year after that, big gains. You're going to want to have that loss that carries over, so you won't be paying the huge tax bill at that point. So there are gifts to be had in the down market, and the pullbacks like this, 99% for Hex, for example, there is a silver lining. So pay attention to that. Don't miss out on that before the end of the calendar year. Thank you.
Since this is a trading show,
hey, Jesus Christ. Somebody's alive and wiry. Yes,
we need to do some TA with Toby. But I had a last question for you, Bullish. Because you're very active in running the Twitter Spaces. Why are you doing that, and what do you see as benefits of running these? Do you think this is the best place to onboard other people who are already in crypto? And shout out to Identity Blockies in the chat, hammering down. Salute.
Yeah, I think Twitter Spaces, as far as like trying to bring more eyeballs into the ecosystem, is important, because most of the crypto bros and gals are on Twitter anyway. Crypto Twitter, crypto X, Twitter, as it's called now. But it's good, especially like if you bring good vibes, good energy, open conversation, willing to have civil discourse and not like talking over each other and screaming. It goes a long way, and that's why I've been actively trying to do it, because we've been seeing those people trickle into to the telegrams and sending DMs, hey, what is this Hex, or how do I get on Pulse Chain? And even some people who've like been hanging out with us, not realizing we're all from Pulse Chain. And then we've had a couple projects that we've helped release, and like mints and NFTs and stuff like that from like very prominent people in our community. Like Mana was one of them, with the Pulse Cats, who everyone knows she does the cats in VR. So we helped her launch her NFT project and launch it, and there was people hanging out who were familiar with her from Chia, another blockchain. And when they realized it was on Pulse Chain, they was like, damn, I gotta finally buy this Pulse Chain now. And they did it. Like they market bought some Pulse Chain, minted her NFT, and it was like, all right, we got one new person into Pulse Chain. And after they came in, they was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Like, this is not that bad. And now they're hanging around. So, and they might tell, a friend or a family member, and that stuff over time does have an effect.
No, I absolutely agree. And we have to try some of these things out. Like there's Fully Croissant, I've seen last night, he did like a virtual nightclub thing.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that because we want you in there too.
Metaverse.
We want you in there. We want you in there to do a DJ set. They were doing I'm forgetting the guy's name off the top of my head, but yeah, they were doing like a DJ party. Next week Wednesday, there's another one coming up, and yeah, we would like to like have you in the Grove, which is like full of Hexicans and Pulsicans anyway, and like do a DJ set. But if not, we'll definitely like stream your next stream onto the big screen so everyone in the metaverse can see it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Like we have to try these things. Like that is stuff that I can get behind, you know, and like share it to the ecosystem, to other community. I think there's more merit in that than like outright promoting.
Yeah, and if I may, like the shill, if I'm gonna shill Tangang, is basically we're just a group of individuals who are crypto enthusiasts who are just here to have a good time, make memes, make art, make music, and you know, and we're just waiting for the bull run. That's all. We're just having a good time waiting for the bull run.
That's a way to pass the time. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm trying similar things with my Twitch streams. I'm also, that's my way of contributing to the outbound messaging and trying to target these gamers who are on the Twitch and on the Kick. I've branched out to Kick now, on these streaming platforms, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, you know this, but you have to keep doing it. You have to keep active and have to show up, and the results will eventually.
I know I'm in a unique like situation. I'm a little bit blessed because I'm like basically like essentially retired, so I have time to. Oh, that's nice.
I couldn't resist.
Man, I lost my train of thought when I saw the orange. We get so excited when we see oranges.
Right.
Well, that was amazing, but still, regardless.
Oh, 1 second. Toby, before we go to your segment, I saw something from a comment saying that the wash trade rules may go away next year. Identity Block was saying that he's tied into the whole right. However, this would not be a wash trade.
No, I'm getting that. That is funny. Tangang and tangent. That's not
right. Oh, there you go. There you go. So, Toby, let me bounce this one off you. If the wash trade rules are going to, and wash trading would be exactly what I described, where you sell your tokens and then buy them instantly back to achieve the tax loss effectively on your books. But within the same ecosystem, if you, for example, had HIFO as your cost basis calculation, and you bought Hex at the high, then right, like you were buying it on the way, in my case, up to 38 cents, and you
39 guilty,
and very good, and you sell those for PHEX, so EHEX to PHEX via a stable coin bridging over, and you do all that stuff. There's no way that that's a wash trade, because you are effectively disposing of the asset once and you're not buying it back again. Therefore, your loss is calculated, and it's not a wash because you're simply disposing of the asset, and that would be a calculation of a true loss. What do you think?
No tax
I'm
advice.
obviously not a tax professional, but my understanding of like wash trading for stock is like, I mean, if you go back to cash, like you have a Tesla and you have a loss and you want to claim, you want to, capitalize on that, no pun intended, get your cap loss locked in. You sell it for cash, you turn around and you buy Tesla back. That's a wash trade. So I think in crypto parlance, if you're going to stables and then back to the same exact coin, and the wash trade rule comes into effect in crypto, then I think that would be a wash trade, would be my take on it. I don't think just going to USDC.
Correct, but
But if you go to like PHEX or a different hex, then that's a different coin. So
right. So you just go to stables for the amount that you wanted to adjust. And you simply later in the next calendar year, then you go to another coin.
Well, or just like 90
no
days.
way that that's a wash.
Whatever the wash trading rule would be for crypto, if they do indeed do that, because I think it's 90 days. ID Block can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 90 days for stock. You can't get back into the same exact asset. So a lot of times, like in financial planners and stuff, it's like if they do that with a mutual fund, let's say that you're in, they will take you out of a mutual fund, but they will put you in a mutual fund that basically holds the same stocks. So, but technically that's not a wash trade, right? So, so there's ways to navigate it that are legal, and obviously I'm I'm still too pretty for prison, so I advocate doing everything above board. And you know, I'm happy to pay my share to Uncle Sam. I'm a proud patriot, and you know, but everybody, you know, just do your due diligence.
IRS is the most awesome branch of the government we've ever seen. Yes.
ID Block said 30 days, by the way. He said 30 days.
30 days is enough.
30 days. Okay,
so if you do 90 days, you're 3 times the patriot of everybody else.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I mean, with the way the market's going, if we haven't bottomed yet, that might be a win-win, right? Yeah. So you sell it to lock in your loss, and then you actually get to buy back lower. So I don't know. We'll see. The charts are looking a little spooky.
Well, good luck on all that. We got 2
coming up.
super chats from the Tang Gang community. Let me just highlight those.
Woo!
To Spooky, another very active person on Twitter, shilling all kinds of stuff.
He's also the founder of HOA. He's the founder of HOA.
Yeah, I figured.
Hex Orange address.
Homeowners Association?
He's the founder of Hex Orange address.
Oh, right on.
And long-time Hexican.
I'm promoting vitamin C intake, which is good for your fascia. And Ted DiFiassi, who has actually been doing
DeFi,
one of
Ted
the...
DeFi.
Ted DeFi. What are you talking about? DeFiassi?
He used to be Ted DeFiassi.
DiBiase?
He used to be, yes, and he now rebranded to Ted DeFi, and he has actually been providing one of the intro music songs to this show here in the waiting room. One of the songs is
really
by Ted DeFi. So salute to you. Thank you for the $9.99. You know what they say? You go out there and you give it 110%. So thank you for the super chats. They go straight to the bosses. So RG3 says thank you. I guess he needs some new underwear after he's been riding in Rackham's Lamborghini.
Ew.
No comment.
Rectum.
Rectum Rochelle. Toby, what's the latest in... we need to run the jingle first. Hold on.
I don't know. Well, here's the deal. So what the fuck? What was I doing in that video? It's like I had a lot.
Getting your
black girl
tang,
in that.
Blame it on the shrooms.
Hang on.
I was like ready to bust out some snaps. It's getting a little
Fabulous.
weird.
Yes.
A little weird. So yeah, so basically we're pretty much just trending in the same pattern that I kind of pointed out a couple of weeks ago when I was on last back. I believe, has it been 3 weeks? Has it been 3 weeks since I was on? So let's say Thursday. Nah.
Yeah. Thanks for not showing up.
Yeah. That long.
Yeah. Great.
About that long. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So yeah, so basically right here, September 21st, that Thursday, that red candle that you see right there in the middle. You can kind of see my crosshair going back and forth. It's not the most visible, but it's there. So that was what we were looking at before, and that was later in the day. So when we were talking, we were up toward the top of this blue channel, which was making me think like, hey, maybe we got a blue channel forming. And then lo and behold, as it's played out over the last couple of weeks, we most definitely got that blue channel, right? So we came down, more or less came off the midline of that channel, that little yellow diagonal there, and then back up and, tapped it back down to the midline, all the way down, confirmed a bottom on this channel, back up, almost hit the top of the channel again a few days ago. And basically we're just above the midline and trying again. If you see that squiggly yellow line going down there, you can just see how we're banging against it. That's the 21 EMA. So that's the one that's holding us down, right? Below that, I've also added a 9 EMA because I know Hexo likes the 9 EMA. So I threw that in there just for shits and giggles.
Just for Hexo.
Yeah, right. Just for Hexo. God love him. And but yeah, so the 21 EMA is what we're looking at as far as resistance. We're rejecting off that currently today so far as we sit. If for some reason today's the day that we finally break above it, we could be looking at maybe 359, 355 on HEX. If we want to pop over to Pulse, we're kind of doing what I expected on this channel. We had this yellow descending channel. The measured move on that would have got us up to about 4.9. We didn't quite get there. We got to 4.88. So didn't quite get the full measured move when we broke out. And then as we've broken out of it, we've started another channel. So here, it's my parallel channels on top of parallel channels thing. So here's an orange. Orange.
Come full cycle.
Ascending
cycle,
parallel
yeah.
channel, right? The callback, as they call that in comedy. So here's the orange ascending channel. The orange ascending channel. And basically, we found a bottom here. We came up and we hit stop. Thank you. And we've been working our way along the midline here, kind of tightening the pattern. The measured move of that, if we were to break out of it, let's see where that would take us. If we go to the upside on this, which I think we're more likely to go up than down from here.
This never works, Toby. Each time you're doing this never
it
plays
does.
out.
It did. Look, it did there. He got it. He got it right.
Dude, don't make me go back to all of my segments and show you how all of them have worked out. They all work out.
Exactly, as I predicted.
Well, I mean, eventually, it's like, if it's going in that direction, it's going to hit that mark, right? So it's just a matter of how long it takes to follow that breakout, right? So I mean, this is pretty typical. It's like this broke out, it came back and retested, and then it made the move. So it didn't quite make the full measured move. It was just short of it, but that's pretty accurate, right? Like if it had broken out here and you bought, you would have made DJ, Dick Ryder, Cryptomatic, Toxic. You would have made 25%, right? You would have made
25%.
You would have followed when I said we broke out of this yellow channel.
Woohoo!
On that, you'd have had 25%. So
my wife would have been happy.
Right? Yeah, no doubt. My
Happy
fiance
wife,
would be
happy
happy
life.
too. She's not so happy lately.
No.
So basically, if we get out of this, we break out of this orange ascending channel, orange.
Okay, enough.
Channel,
come on.
Then I'm sorry, I'm overplaying it. So then basically we'd be up here to some previous resistance at about 0.6, right? So not bad, about a 50% move.
And that's on Pulse Chain, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Pulse. That is Pulse.
Yes,
That's PLS. And I'm not going to show you my watch list because I caught all kinds of hell last time for my shit coins. So I do track some of the others just out of curiosity because I like playing with my colored sticks and moving them around.
Show us Hex. Show us Hex.
Oh man! All right, let me find Hex.
Find Hex.
Well, I don't want to pull up my
what
list.
Show is this?
You're tracking
PDI. It's like, why are you
see everything?
PDI? You're going to see a bear, and you're going to see all the bullshit that everybody talks about. Like, because I've got all of them on my watch list because it's interesting. So
while you do that, let's hear a quick 20 seconds take from our friend Wendy O.
Yeah.
Of the SEC using unlimited resources to go after people or to make accusations when they have no proof. So once we see the proof, we're listening to an entity and go after another entity with no facts or evidence yet. So I feel like instead of getting mad and judging, we need to really take a step back and see what's happening. Just because you don't like Richard Hart, just maybe you don't like the Hexicans or whatever it is, why are we cheering for the SEC to unjustly go after people?
Exactly.
Wendy O needs a pop filter, but otherwise she's
Bullish. What do you make of that? You live in? Are you even living in Brooklyn of all places?
I'm in New York. I'm in New York City.
You're in New York, right? Because the lawsuit is pretty much centered around New York and some of the Uniswap people living there, and probably a bit mentioned in the case as some of the complainers. What do you make of all this? Or how do you think is going to play out?
The way I think, well, I got to be careful because I'm technically married to a lawyer and I've had her look into all this stuff.
Nice. Technically married to a lawyer. All right.
Well, you're not on camera, so.
No. But many people know what I look like behind the scenes, so I'm not worried about that. But so this case is interesting, from multiple angles because it's a big gray area at the moment. That's the way I see it. Overall, that's my official. It's one big gray area, and until either new administration, and I'm not talking about presidential administration, local administration comes in and is pro crypto, it's gonna pretty much continue that way. And then from the sense of the kind of cases we're seeing now, it's all a money grab, in my opinion. They're not here trying to save anyone. SEC, they're not here trying to save me. They're not trying to look out for me. They just want fines. And
they mad because they didn't get their cut, I guess.
They're going to get it somehow. They're going to get it somehow.
That's
what they're good at. They're going to get it somehow because that's what they're good at. And yeah, you can fight back, and many people do, but it costs money. Lawyers are not cheap. Someone's not going to be a fool to go self-represent themselves against the SEC. So, it's just the avenue. In my opinion, all they care about is just collecting fees. And also, to add to that, given some of the stuff that my wife has told me, whistleblowers are incentivized because whatever they collect, some of it goes back to the whistleblower. So like,
yeah, they get a percentage.
They get a percentage.
Get a
so
cut.
you have people just making up stuff and just being a loudspeaker just so they can collect fees. I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if there's agencies, just like there's agencies that all they focus on is like copyright law and trademark law, and they're just trying to accumulate as much as possible so then they can go sue you. I'm sure there's people trying to figure out like, let's figure out how we can get this entity in trouble or this entity in trouble or this entity in trouble so we can collect some fees.
Yeah, you have to do a good job at it, for God's sake, right? You have to spend the time. This case doesn't seem to be well concocted. It's not fairly half baked.
Yeah,
just like throwing it away.
Yeah, even the one against like Richard Hart is like clearly they didn't do their due diligence. That's like
no, not at all. This is all rubbish. But because of that, could there be a situation where this just gets thrown out of the court as not feasible?
It's very possible.
That's kind of what I'm banking on.
So this is like it's funny, but like not trying to shill any meme. I'm really not trying to show any meme. It's just a story. So like the whole where the ETH go memes. It was from that because like when the SEC news came out, I started a Twitter space, got like 1,600 people in there, just kept it very general, and a bunch of people came in there because they thought we were gonna FUD, and we were just making fun of them about where the ETH go. Because if you look on the blockchain, you're gonna know exactly where the ETH went, and clearly the SEC and code did not, do their due diligence. So we're like, instead of like spending hours arguing with people, explaining to them where it went, we're just gonna meme them to death until they give up.
Right.
There you go.
Okay. So maybe there's hope that it just gets
memes change minds.
I think there's hope.
Thank you for the super chat, too spooky.
Look, knowing what I do about the court system and taking a major bank to court and winning, I'll tell you this: judges don't generally throw things out on merit alone. They say they want to be educated. And if they don't know anything about crypto, which they probably don't, then they're like, wait, okay, so somebody tell me what's an Ethereum, and they want to go from there. And I don't think they're given the time in this discussion, first hearing, to decide whether or not this proceeds, to really educate the judge. I'm banking on it not getting thrown out, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because then slowly over the arduous journey of multiple years, the court will be educated into what happened and how it works and why it was a no harm, no foul type of thing, and why there's no victims.
There's no victims.
There's no victims. And then when the judge says, wait a minute, it's a truly victimless crime because these people did do the give me $1 scenario. Remember back in the 30s, I think some guy took out a big ad in the New York Times and said, send me $1. And he made no claims of anything that he was going to offer anybody at all. And he made like $100,000. And back in that money, in those days, it was something like $1 million. And then people started saying, wait a minute, I didn't get anything for this. And a class action lawsuit effectively formed. Yeah. And he took him to court. And the judge said, no harm, no foul, because he made no claims that he would give you anything. He just simply said, send me $1. And some people sent multiple dollars, and he became rich. So we get to keep it, whatever. Since then, there's been several court cases using that as precedent, but it's been overturned, saying that effectively you can't do that anymore, or else people would be doing it all the time. So in this case, I think it's going to end up to be one of those new precedents where people say there were no victims because everyone knew what the fuck they were doing when they did these moves on chain. And there you go.
Yeah.
Plus, you know what? If you want to split hairs, there were no expectations. But even if there were no expectations, I think we all got everything that we had hoped for. The powers that be rained down on us tokens that were associated loosely with points, that were loosely associated with our throwing our goodies into the fire for freedom of speech and freedom of movement. I think that I'm a happy fucking guy, I really enjoyed the entire journey and the journey to come because I have something now. I have something, and I feel that I contribute to it actually being a thing. So,
hey guys, earlier I was busy running some errands with my folks. I didn't get to catch the first part of the stream, but I definitely want to go back because I'm a big fan of Bullish. Love that kid. We've talked before, and happy to be on with you. I don't know that we've ever been on before together, but anyhow.
Yeah, I think we
point
have.
being,
Definitely
did
behind
you
the
guys-
scenes in the green room.
Yeah, for sure. We've talked behind the scenes, but mad respect for that kid. I call everybody kid because I'm 52, so everybody's likely younger than me. So hopefully that's not insulting. But anyhow, did you guys talk about the Corey Costa 11-minute video where he was showing people how to go through and make comments and how that can benefit the case being expedited?
Oh, for the SEC? No.
As you should do this,
right?
Yes.
Well, we want educated people, and it's and he showed a couple examples of people that had made comments, and they seemed very well articulated points. So I was going to do that later this weekend myself, try to put my thinking cap on and sound smarter than I am. And
remember, Richard says run it through ChatGPT before you you send. It's because you write in freaking Iliad size posts. So can you please be brief and to the point, because these people are nimrods and they don't want to read 8 pages of Toby saying, "Well, when I was just a young buck."
Are you saying I'm long-winded?
Yes. Bullish
being literally in bed with lawyers. He might be able to put in a very good comment. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Lawyers love me because the hours are long. They get me on the phone, and those conversations are longer than they probably need to be.
Yeah,
but hey,
Toby, you're loquacious. How's that?
Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Speaking of gay version of the jingle. So what are we looking at here? And then we have to pull the outro plug.
Yeah, so real quick, we'll just go over, this is PHEX. PHEX has been a little trickier one to identify anything solid. I mean, it's dead sideways. I mean, basically, it's if you're looking at, let's see here, if we wanted to kind of play around with another potential pattern, maybe. I mean, that's dead nuts sideways. If that's what we're looking at. So
dead nut. That's what my wife calls me.
As long as you got one good working one, you're fine.
You're provoking the boomer jokes.
Don't sweat it. But yeah, so it's I was watching this thing and it's I didn't have a lot of confidence in it because we kind of got a touch. I mean, we got a touch here, got 3 touches at the bottom, which makes me feel a little more confident. Got another one here.
Ascending triangle.
Descending parallel channel. And technically we broke it here. So, I mean, it could be a situation where kind of like what we saw on when I looked at Pulse and how it broke out, it retested, went sideways for a while and slowly worked its way up to make the measured move. So it could be kind of doing one of those where it's just taking a while to get there. If this is indeed a breakout of a legitimized pattern. Otherwise, this one's a tough call. I mean, this is on the daily. I mean, you can go to lower time frames and try to spot stuff. But I have more confidence in longer time frames.
What's the measured move take us to, Toby?
Measured move would take us up to about 1.4 cents. And if
this is on Pulse. This is on Pulse.
On Pulse HEX. Pulse HEX. Right. So, and if you look, that's up here where we had a big drawback on this wick. So it's that's pretty much a previous area of support and resistance. I mean, in the other thing you're dealing with is just such a short time frame, right? We don't have a ton of data on this yet, so it's we only have a few months, so it's hard to go back and see all these horizontals I've got drawn in here. It's one of those is at 1.4, so theoretically we're gonna get close to that if we make this breakout. And
how about EHEX? The hex that we started out with.
EHEX is the one that we first started out with. So it's we got to get it above the 21 EMA right now, which is at.
Can you show us that maybe instead of?
Yeah, I can show you.
I flipped over to it. Did it?
Click log. God damn it!
Click log.
Oh, is it lagging? There it is. Yeah, I'm on it. I just didn't see it on your guys' screen. So yeah, so if you see this big green box, see this big green box, that was when I was on with you guys a few weeks ago and said, hey, this is an area to watch. And we hit it and we came below it and we hit it and we hit it again. We tried to break out of it and didn't get there. So that was a target that we hit twice, right? So basically the next target would be, you just basically take this little box and you'd be like, hey, baby, let's move it on down here. So basically this is kind of the area that we're looking at now is the top of this. We got to get through the 21 EMA, which is at 0.0033. If we can get and stay above that and start using that as support, the next would be the top of the channel, which is 0.0035. And then the breakout on this, let's see what we got breakout wise. Let's use a white line. Why not? So we're kind of crunching for time. That gets us up here to another, area where there had been some significant activity. We had a top here, right? So that's close. And that puts us up around 0.004. So I'd be happy with the 004 on the old school OG EHEX. But yeah, I mean, it's looking, I don't know. It's like, it made me a little nervous that we had this continued to drift lower, but it's trying to get there. It's trying to get there. Just some good news. Good news would help. Broader market sentiment stuff shifting around. All that's going to affect us. So, as goes Bitcoin, so goes the rest of us, whether we like it or not. But yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
In a nutshell. I'm in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. All right. So Bullish, once again, thank you so much for coming on and for doing all the work that you do behind the scenes and pushing the outreach to other communities, especially on the Twitter Spaces, because that takes time. You need to these are long, and you have to really put up with the energy to run those. You have the final words. Anything you have to shill? Anything? Where can people follow you? I've put your Twitter in the description down below.
Well, yeah. First of all, thank you guys for inviting me on the show. Thank you, everyone on this screen right now. I've been following you guys since I've come into the community. If it wasn't for Popper Boner, I probably would have been here with my camera on. But he was like, no, operational security.
Exactly.
And I changed a lot of stuff. So I want to thank.
You never told me that, but okay.
Yeah. So I want to no, but many people have seen me behind the scenes and they know what I look like. So and I'll turn on the camera after the stream is over so you guys can see me. But
yay!
But thanks to everyone who's been watching and tuning in. Bullish-0x, Bullish-0x on everything. Let's go Hex, let's go Pulse Chain. Richard Hart, good luck with everything you have. We're here rooting for you.
Cool.
Awesome. And on that note, we call it an outro. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We've got 65 people. Please smash the likes. Follow the Discourse Syndicate, and we see you guys on the next one.
Outro.
Do you like drum and bass? I love drum and bass.